Perfect. All right, we got one last person signing in here in the library, and then we will get going. So just to introduce some people tonight, my name is Kelly McCardle. I am from the CNX company, civil engineering firm that working with the city of Plattsburgh on the Margaret Street project. With me up here tonight, we have Andrew Duran from the city of Plattsburgh, assistant superintendent of the DPW. Want to give a little wave to everybody? Perfect. So for most of you who are here, you all familiar faces. Tonight we're going to talk about the next phase of the Margaret Street project. We previously spoke about the concept study. That's where the surveys were out, and we have moved from the concept study into the reconstruction of Margaret Street. So it's been a few months since I last spoke with everybody. So there's been a few decisions that have been made, and we just wanted to send that out for everybody tonight and inform you what is happening on the project. So let's start with the project. Sorry, I'm getting told timeout. Sorry. And I think we're good now. Perfect. So I'm gonna keep rolling. So let's start with our project purpose. Why are we doing the project on Margaret Street? So the project is actually called Margaret Street, but for most of you who know and are aware of the project, it actually includes parts of Court and Breakerhoff as well. But why are we doing this project? We spoke, if you've been to any of the previous meetings, about the aging underground utilities, right? We talked about how some of the underground utilities are over 100 years old, and Andrew and his crews are going out, and we changed that number from 9 breaks to 10 breaks in the past 10 years. We know that when there's a water main break, it gets expensive. You have to mobilize emergency crews, do a temporary fix, and then come through and do a permanent fix later on. So as part of this project, when we redo the utilities, what is going to occur is when you redo underground utilities, you have to dig down so deep into the ground. It is virtually going to provide an opportunity to install new sidewalks, new subbays, new asphalt, and virtually reimagine the top side of Margaret Street at the same time as replacing those underground utilities. So that's a little tricky for you to understand. You can look at the picture in the top right. That's not just a normal photo that we show when we talk about underground utilities, because there's utilities running beneath the road that are providing the sanitary, water, different things like that that we use in our businesses and our homes every day. Shannon, could you advance the slide for me, please? I got it. Thanks. Perfect. So our project timeline. Let's talk about how this project is flowing and where are we going with this project. So we talked about the concept study of preliminary design. Those were our meetings that were done previously. A lot of you in this room took the surveys. You remember it was a QR code, it was a blue or a yellow sheet. We took the surveys and learned what opportunities existed within Margaret Street for enhancements. And you can see the dates up there. And now we are rolling into final design. Final design, for those who are unaware, what that is, that's where the engineering firm, us at CNX Company, we're using what came out of that concept study to produce the project documents or project plans. And we actually create 3D models of the roadway. So when they go to build the road, they will have it loaded into like their bulldozers, and they can utilize that 3D model to help build the roadway more precisely. So we're working in that final design stage right now. That's where we're really finalizing all of the details to produce those project documents. Some of you may know them as blueprints or project plans, all different interchangeable words. So then after that, those plans will be done in December of this year. Then the project will go to advertisement. So a contractor can bid on the job. Then after the job is awarded, Margaret Street, Court and Breakerhoff, the project as a whole is going to be a 2-year project. So you can see the dates right up here for year 1 and year 2. April and November are a typical construction season. Sometimes it flexes with the weather, whether how much snow there is or how cold it is. But those are generally those dates for a construction season. So stepping back to that concept study, these are the dates when the meetings occurred, when the surveys were open, when they closed, when we had public information meeting number 1, and what came out of public information meeting number 1 and the survey. So again, most of you know this information. If this is new, welcome, but for most of you, it might be old information that we've already covered. We then continued on with public information meeting 2. We had the blue survey, and then May 2nd, 2022, the city council accepts and moves forward with the final concept study. So let's go back and check in with that project timeline or project milestones. That concept study is completed, and again, we are currently in final design. So final design in the primary area. Again, you may already have seen this, so I apologize if it is a repeat. This is our primary area right here, including Margaret, Brink, and Fort. And in this area, that's going to be that full depth reconstruction. We're going to go all the way down to excavate and remove and replace our utility lines there. We can look for opportunities to put new sidewalks in, new subways, new asphalt, and then we can also improve any pedestrian accommodation, crosswalk visibility, and also look at any sort of traffic signals. Can they be upgraded? Can they receive upgrades? Or can they receive a full replacement? So this picture right here, this is going to show the flow or circulation of the primary study area. So what is changing is going to be the one-way from Court and Brinker Hall. And all the other travel flow directions are going to be the same. So we've previously talked about typical sections for someone who has come to these meetings. And what a typical section is this graphic right here. It's like a cut of the roadway. So you can see what's going to occur within a certain area. So we broke out this project, and as you'll see, sorry for the people on the Zoom, I'm blocking the video. I do that all the time, sorry. So here is region 1. I'll put that up so you can see that. Anything that is a white car, if you can't read the text, because I know it's a little small, a white car signifies a parking lane. So it's not actually a vehicle driving, it is a parking lane. So then we have the section between Court and Brink. I'll just give you a few seconds to look at that and digest. Court to Cornelia. Breaker Hall from Margaret to Oak. And last but not least, for that primary area, again, that's going to be fully excavated and rebuilt. So that's virtually a reconstruction is what we call that. You'll see right here, Court Street from Margaret to Oak. So now on to my favorite part. These are some things that personally I really enjoy. These are photo simulation. What these show is almost a compare and contrast of what's there now versus a computer generated photo. So this is this is actually a few days ago I took this photo right on Margaret Street. So if you're unfamiliar, people don't know would be right on your right in this image. Here is what it could look like. So I will go back and forward. So these are not final. These are more of how it could look. An example of why it's not final. So I'm working with the city, specifically Andrew, the mayor, and a lot of personnel within the city. If right now, if the crosswalk is a style like this, they could come back and change it and make it a crosswalk that has bars on it, right? So this is not 100% exact how it's going to look, but it's a photo simulation of how it could look because we are in final design and we're working on finalizing these decisions. Here's another one on Margaret Street. with some new tree grades to improve any of our storm water mitigation. I'll go back to that one. Traffic signals. As a part of this project, right now this is actually Cornelia and Margaret. That is a span wire signal. So the lights are hung by just a simple wire. So the newer technology and what is recommended is a mast arm. They're safer, they're easier to work on, and they hold more. So if you want to change out your traffic signals, add an overhead sign, add new pedestrian push buttons, because if you go there right now, all we have are the hand bands. There's no countdown timers. So we need to upgrade this to a mast arm, and that's what that would look like. Most of us are familiar with mast arms, but that's just a fancy term for these little L's right here that hold the traffic signals. So a span wire to a mast arm. Oh, sorry, yeah.
I'm just wondering, is there an opportunity for the city to maybe utilize like something a little less industrial in the downtown, like those smaller black ones, like you see in like Montreal or something?
Yeah,
That's a little bit for downtown.
you can, your mast arms can be decorative. So generally you see kind of the steels or the gray looking ones, but they have decorative mast arms. They are more expensive. And I can tell you right now, lead time on mast arms in the industry is a while. It's about a year right now to get mast arms. So we can write that down. I have my trusty helpers over there writing that down about decorative mast arms. I'll take that. We can definitely run that. So then we're going to talk about our secondary area. So this is core and grape from Oak all the way down to Beekman. Again, most of you have probably seen this map. This is probably old news, but that's okay. I just like to show everybody, bring everybody up to speed so nothing is new. So within this area, there's going to be a mill and overlay. So what that is, an asphalt mill will come through and it has like teeth and it'll eat up the road. So you can do a 2-inch mill and overlay. It'll eat up 2 inches of asphalt and grinds it all right up, takes it. And then you can pave a fresh new 2 inches. So that's what's going to occur in this area. Well, we're also at the same time going to add bike lanes. Here will be your traffic circulation pattern. So the same as this now, but there will be a travel lane removed to make room for the bike lanes. And this follows, if anybody is familiar with the bike-friendly Plattsburgh study, this follows right in alignment with that, removing the traffic lane to install the bike lane. And we do have traffic engineers on our team who have evaluated this area already to determine if the number of vehicular movements are appropriate for a 1 lane, because you don't want to be too congested. That would just be silly. And this area is appropriate for 1 lane traffic.
Parking on both sides still?
Yes, parking on both sides. And I actually have a picture coming up of this one as well too. So here's those typical sections. This is Bremerhoff in this area. And if I'm going too fast for you, I will show you at the end. I have this on the project website. So you can see all of this in your own time as well. Yeah.
What is the purpose of a kickbook buffer instead of doing a bi-directional bike lane the other way?
So great question. With this one, the bike lane is going to go with the flow of traffic. And this from here over is actually going to remain. That's what's there now, because this is going to be a mill and overlay to here. And then those will be the new components. So this is actually going to stay as existing as it is now.
So if the city wanted to, they could invest in putting a bike lane in the other direction.
Yes. Yeah. So the sidewalks and actually if you stay a little after me, I can show you a great figure that would illustrate that. And here's court. So here are those photo simulation pictures. Again, this may not exactly be how it's going to look, but this is close because like I said, we are working out those final details right now with the city. So you see the roadway gets a little bit narrower, right? Because we're removing the travel lane, but we're adding areas for bikers, walkers, right on the side right here. Back. And up forward. Here's Court Street. And again, if you wanted to look at these, you can see them within our project website. At the end of the meeting, I will tell you exactly where to find it. If you're interested and you want to pull it up right now, it is margaretstreetproject.com.
Question for you,
Yeah,
no removal.
snow removal, you got the guy right here.
If I remember, Public Works doesn't remove snow banks from court, what's the street, just, we have to break off?
Yeah, bring it off the board.
Right there, what's that street?
This is court.
That's court, you don't remove snow from there.
No, no longer it's the street.
So in essence, your single lane may be, ordered. You're not compensating for snow banks.
So this area right here, Steve, so one of those final decisions, and actually we're just talking about this. This area right here,
Yeah.
that's exactly that's what we just talked about that. So this area, again, I know this meeting is being recorded, by the way. I can't go on record saying that this is going to be grass, but this area may become grass.
Yeah, that's actually not the sidewalk. The sidewalk is back behind the tree.
On the other side.
Right, so I think that's initially when I looked at it, I got confused thinking that was the sidewalk, where the sidewalk's actually back behind. So we may end up turning that into green space area, and that will alleviate the snow. Yep, that'll alleviate the snow storage area.
Well, conflict otherwise.
Yes, yep.
Absolutely.
Lighter, down and do it. People are not gonna go one way. Yeah.
So like I told you, we have a Margaret Street project website. So anybody who was involved with the concept study, that was through a different, it was like kind of a long string of letters to try to get to the project website. It is now margaretstreetproject.com. So what that is, that's a monitored website, monitored by myself, and you can go right to that website from any mobile device, iPad, computer, things of that nature, and you can see information about the project. So right now, this is actually a screenshot of the website. You can see our information for our public information meeting. And thank you to the individuals who joined our Zoom on the computer for that, because that link was actually right up on there. So the project website, if you're looking for any information, you pull it up, like I said, here's the screenshot. You'll be able to navigate through these tabs. You'll see project team, so you'll know who's working on the project. So it's virtually CNS in the city of Plattsburgh. You'll see the project timeline, virtually what we went through today. The concept study, so everything that was done from the concept study, you can see all the recorded meetings that were previously done right here. Again, most of you have attended them. I thank you so much for that. But you can watch those and listen to those right up on that concept study tab. We also have our city council meeting recordings. Thank you to Beth Carlin. She records those for us and throws them up on the YouTube page. We pulled the ones where Margaret Street was discussed. We also have those photo simulations that I just showed. You can see them right on the project website. And then lastly, we have the contact us tab. So there's a Margaret Street email. Do you have something that is urgent, any concerns? The best way to have those is written down through that Margaret Street email. It is margaretstreet@cscos.com. And that goes right to, Shannon's gonna move this for us. We're gonna make her nervous. You got it, Shannon. So that goes right into the design team's email, and we can see all your concerns. So anybody who has used that to this point, greatly appreciated. We monitor that right quick is the term the young kids say. And that's where you can email. We also on the website under contact us, there's a little box where you can provide your email if you wanted to receive email. So for anybody who received the email to come to this meeting, that was signed from my email, actually it was my Kelly personal email, you're already on our list. So you don't need to be re-added because you're already on the list. So that's right. But if you want to be added at any time, you'll receive updates like this meeting. You'll receive different things about the project right to your email. If you want to sign up for that and have it, we can do it on the website, or you can do it right over at our signing table, right over here, and you will get added to that list immediately after this meeting. that, I also wanted to put a plug in. If somebody is not comfortable with any website or email, obviously we can do any speaking through word of mouth, but you'll also see a brochure or pamphlet some of the businesses on Margaret Street for anybody who is not comfortable with utilizing a computer or website. Virtually all the information that we presented tonight and project website information is in those paper brochures. Just want to make sure that we're reaching out to everybody. Yes, your question?
Do you have more details on the section of Margaret Street that's one way? I didn't remember seeing any.
Yeah, let me pull that section up.
I'm just wondering, I mean, I kind of like the idea. I'm just wondering conceptually how it is envisioned being used.
And then also on the website, I did not post it onto this PowerPoint. We do have a bike circulation map. So anybody who is interested in the bike circulation map or as a cyclist, you can see that right up on the project website as well. I just didn't pull it for space.
What would northbound cyclists be expected to do here?
So yes, northbound cyclists are right through this section. Oh, true. Yeah,
They're gonna go on the sidewalks or in the road.
Or in the road.
yeah.
And why 17 feet? Like, is that bike lane to be delineated with pavement markings with a 4-foot bike lane?
No, this one will not. This is gonna be a shared.
That's also scary. Because what if that person wanted to park on that side of the road and there's a cyclist coming, like that car is always gonna hug the right. You're always gonna hug the right. So if that person's gonna go to the left, it's gonna be a conflict all the time. It's like,
So one of the things that we talked about in the old, one of the previous meetings is we talked about this section, right? This is one of our most critical sections of Margaret Street and our building front to building front. Right now, we have about 65 feet to work with, right? We talked about bike lanes in 2 directions. We talked about 2-way travel, right? That's the big one. We talked about keeping the parking on both sides. The desired width would be 90 feet. So after the surveys, we talked about what was more important, not after the surveys, during the surveys. What were more important, our top priorities to fit within that 65 feet, because we don't have 90 feet from building front to building front. We just don't. That would be, 2 bike lanes each direction.
you at least have a 4-foot bike lane and you'd still have the 13 feet for the car lane, which I think is still too wide.
I believe in order to straighten it, you have to have 5 foot for the bike.
You would have 5 foot.
It
You
could
still
be
have
a-
a 12-foot drive lane, you have 5-foot bike lane.
It could be a reduced speed area.
Shouldn't be
So we don't, the problem is right now, because we have a 75% complete base map. We don't actually know that those numbers are accurate yet.
But are they close?
Based
I
off,
assume they're close.
we would
Like, you-
assume
you
they're
would-
close, but it doesn't,
Either
maybe we
way.
have 16 feet instead of 17.
Then you can do 4, 5, and 11.
I can't
11
do-
is
I-
very acceptable in a city urban
I
environment.
can't do 11 feet when my fire trucks are 12 feet wide.
The fire trucks are 12 feet wide,
From mirror to mirror to 12 feet wide. That's the issue I'm having at Code now.
but you have the bike lane, so what's the problem? They would go in the bike lane, if they need to get down the road.
Unless there's somebody biking in the bike lane.
Then they get out of the way, just the car. I'm gonna argue this with you, because you can strike that lane,
But
that's
there's no,
dangerous.
was that a designated bike lane or was it shared use?
That's shared use.
It's 17 feet, that's crazy.
But we don't know that it's 17 feet.
Even if it's 16, you can do it.
Yes.
I know that parking is important.
Yeah.
But because we're only talking about that section being one way, is there any consideration given to only having parking on one side of the road in that section? It's only because we're talking about an interchange spot at that point.
Yeah, so in that region two, we have 15 existing parking spots right now. And so one of the main things out of the survey that came out of the top priority was that parking in that section, specifically ADA or the handicap parking, potentially putting some of those in there, as well as individuals liking that parking right close if they went to, Hobie's or Twisted Carrot or things that are right in that area. That came out of the survey as a top priority.
People understanding that and then when you want to talk about the goal is right, we can get that section.
Yeah,
I know that that was confusing when I answered the question. I was looking at the whole road, and it said it was taking parcel away, but when the game was smaller, I'm just.
no, that's a great thing. Can we, team, can we write that one down? One side, region two. Perfect, thank you. See, you guys have
Two questions. One, the sidewalks, are they getting wider sidewalks, or are they maintaining the same distance, or are they getting a little bit smaller?
So it's going to depend on where you are along Margaret Street, and I can have those were drafted in our concept study. But the sidewalks are going to become shared widths,
Shared with
shared widths, so they will be the same.
on both sides.
Yes. Will.
Because if you were to take a foot off of each side of the sidewalk, you'd have a bicycle path.
We could, yes,
Not
absolutely.
only that, and the other thing is, if you look at the present sidewalks we have, and I saw that your design still has those paving bricks.
So those actually aren't paving bricks, those are most likely gonna be stampede.
Okay, and is there gonna be a round stamping for? I mean, I'm probably the only one here that shovels those sidewalks. And paving side, oh, Dave does too. They're horrible. You've got the sinkage of the sidewalk, you have the curve, because the new form of sidewalks are a nice one piece.
Yeah.
You can easily push off the snow, but you have a very wide existing sidewalk now. And if you were to take it down to 2 feet, a foot off each side, you would have that bicycle path. Also, going back to when we're talking about snow removal on one side, Mr. Moore was pointing out, if it's a one-way street and people are parking on both sides, the left-hand side parking is on the driver's side, and that car will just naturally park a little bit more out into the road because of the snow days. So maybe the best solution would be have public works remove snow all the way down.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I have a water line issue then, right now, I'm hearing you, Steve.
Speaking of water line, what sort of water pipes going to be made of?
So more than likely, those are gonna be, ER9, which is HDPE or plastic pipe, which is what we're doing over at the base right now. I'm not sure if anybody's been in that area.
That's all in one piece, or are they rolled
So what they do, what it is they come in 50-foot lengths, and then we fuse the pieces of pipe together.
with heat?
Yep. And actually, those joints actually hold stronger than the pipe itself. So if you were to take an excavator at each end, it won't break at the joint. The pipe itself will actually stretch.
And your PSI is going to be,
What's that?
your PSI is going to be.
So PSI will stay the same. It's not going to change because we have a gravity system in plastic. So that won't change at all.
And will that change if the city switches to the well system versus the reservoir?
That I can't tell you 100%. That's a question for John Law. I don't believe it will because our system's still gravity from the water filtration plant down through the city. So the well system would only affect the area from the wells to the water filtration plant. So in theory, there should be no change in our system from the water filtration plant down through the city.
All right.
The trees that are existing right now. Yeah, will suffer damage, and is consideration being given to how they will fare after years after having had them.
Yes, and if you want to.
I'm sorry, I only got the tail end of that.
The trees and the current roof damage throughout the project, how they will fare after the project.
Yes, so we've been looking at the trees specifically because we have people who are for keeping the trees and people who are against keeping the trees. The current problem that we have with the trees that are there now, we get several complaints from business owners and property owners because those trees they're basically met their expected size and they rub up against the buildings. So we're constantly cutting the branches and they're doing damage to the buildings. The other issue we have for health department regulations, when we install new lines underground, we have to stay certain distances from existing lines as they are in the ground. So if I have a sanitary line here and I have a water line here, I have to stay 10 feet away with my new water main from any existing line. So with the limited space we have, more than likely, all those trees are gonna have to be removed just to put the new infrastructure in the ground as it is. The other thing with those trees is their current root system weren't provided adequate soil or root ball space, which is something that will be addressed with a new landscaping plan. So we would probably go through, put new trees in the ground and provide adequate root-based system for those trees.
Would you be looking at a different type of tree? that would be
Yes.
More adapted to that?
Yes.
As probably not as part of this project, but are there related projects to bring in to provide grant money for the businesses to sort of accommodate the new road? I mean,
Can you provide clarification on that?
so there's, I mean, part of the goal of the project was to, rejuvenate Margaret Street. Right? And, many of the businesses along Margaret Street could stand some rejuvenation, especially to sort of.
Oh,
Yeah.
facade.
Yeah.
And I do believe there was loans through the DR, yes, thank you. The DRI actually had a section of that where you could apply to get loans to redo portions of buildings and businesses downtown.
Through the DRI,
Yes,
the community development office.
yes, sir.
So during the period of reconstruction of that stretch of Market Street, are there provisions to, there's going to be a lot of disruption during that time, so.
Yes.
Are there any provisions to help the businesses that are going to be affected by that?
Financially, I don't think so, but we're gonna make sure that the businesses have access to stay open all the time.
And will there be access for people to get into?
Yes,
that?
absolutely. Yep.
And that's very important, obviously, on this project. So what we can do with that would be any sort of temporary asphalt walkways, any sort of bridging, or any sort of rubberized mats to create a solid surface to enter into any
To minimize any disruption.
Yeah, and actually, that you bring up a great point. So through construction, we talked about the schedule year 1 and 2. This project website will be up, so if you have any concerns, again, you can shoot that right through an email, and there'll be more meetings. Once we move through those different stages. We do have another meeting scheduled here for November 9th. We'll have more finalized and show more pictures. We can, to look at all those concerns of the city that we may have, and we can bring more of those finalized answers and design questions right up here. Yeah.
So I've been noticing a lot of electric bikes. Since moving down Prospect Street. And I'm wondering to what extent, information about bike lanes that are being designed, how they are accommodating electric bikes, or if electric bikes are changing the concept of bike lanes.
No, I'm actually just kind of educating myself on these because I'm not 100% on this, but I think there's traffic, they're just starting to implement traffic laws on these bikes. So I'm not sure if those bikes are actually supposed to be riding in bike lanes or if they're supposed to be riding in the actual car lanes.
Yeah.
So I've got to do a little bit more educating myself on this topic. Just so I can kind of answer, and actually Melina probably has.
It's my understanding that if they go 18 miles an hour or under, they can ride in the bike lanes. You still have to be 16. Anything over that, you can ride in the vehicle.
All right. Well, I thank everybody for coming tonight. Like I said, if you're on that email list, I will shoot an email reminder to you. And I will see you at the next meeting, or you can also email or go to that project website, and we will be talking. Nice seeing everybody tonight. Thanks for coming out. Hopefully you didn't get too wet on the way in. And I'm going to put the light on. Shannon, can you stop the recorder? I know. Oh, hard.